When Declan got completely trashed last night, he shoved his family's multi-million-dollar heirloom diamond bracelet onto my wrist. He buried his face in my neck, his eyes red-rimmed and desperate, his breath hot and ragged as he begged me not to go. The very next morning, the alcohol wore off. His jaw ticked as his cold, sober eyes locked onto me. Take it off. That doesn't belong to you. I slipped the heavy diamonds off my wrist, flashing him a soft, compliant smile with no tears, no begging, and not a single trace of the heartbreak he expected. He didn't know the truth. My mind was already racing, counting down the days. Just one more month. One more month until the contract expired. That $5 million final payout was the only thing that could keep my fiancé, Levi, on life support at Mount Sinai. Chapter 1. He sat on the edge of the mattress, digging his knuckles into his temple. His bloodshot eyes didn't even glance my way, staying glued to the glittering diamond bracelet I had just placed on the sheet. It was the heirloom he was saving, the engagement piece for his golden girl, Natalia. Forget about last night. His voice grated like crushed gravel, a command, not a request. I knelt on the plush rug, gathering his discarded suit jacket and tie. I tipped my head up, offering him the gentle, flawless smile I had spent years perfecting. Don't worry, Declan. You passed out the second you hit the mattress. Nothing happened. You didn't say a word. This was exactly why he kept me around. I played the game perfectly, never prying or crossing boundaries, and erasing whatever didn't fit his narrative. The tension bled out of Declan's shoulders as he pushed himself up and walked into the master bathroom. I let out a slow exhale, grabbing the heavy, icy diamonds to tuck the priceless piece into its velvet box before placing it dead center on the nightstand where he couldn't miss it. Once the bedroom was immaculate, I headed down to the kitchen to blend his usual post-bender detox smoothie. I slid the glass across the marble island just as his executive assistant walked in, dropping off a fresh suit and a massive bombshell. Declan, Natalia's flight back to New York is booked. She lands on the 5th of next month. Declan's fingers froze on his silver cufflink. The permanent ice in his eyes thawed instantly, replaced by a flicker of raw, unrestrained panic. The 5th, he muttered, the syllable catching in his throat. That's less than a month. His head snapped toward me, his gaze dragging up and down my body, sudden and hypercritical. I knew exactly what that look meant. The real deal was coming home. The knockoff had to go. For 5 grueling years, I morphed into whatever he demanded. I wore the minimalist silk dresses Natalia loved, kept my hair dyed pitch black and pin straight, and even tweaked the muscle memory of my smile to match hers. I was a flawless mirror image, but an illusion shatters the second the lights come on. Hazel, Declan snapped, his tone dripping with dismissive charity. Pack your things. Move into the Brooklyn penthouse for the rest of the month. Stay out of my way. Of course. The words slipped out of my mouth so effortlessly, so quickly, that his dark brows pulled together into a sharp frown. And when this contract ends, he added, his voice dropping an octave, I don't want to see your face anywhere near Manhattan. I kept my hands folded neatly in my lap, not letting a single muscle in my face twitch. Understood. I'll disappear completely and won't cause any trouble for you or Natalia. I nudged the cold glass closer to his knuckles, tapping the condensation away. Drink up before you head to the office. It'll settle your stomach. Declan stared down at me, a muscle feathering along his jawline. He looked almost entirely off balance. In his warped reality, I was supposed to drop to my knees, sob, claw at his shirt, and beg him not to throw me away. Instead, my pulse was steady. My brain was already crunching the numbers. The 5th of next month. That was the exact date our 5-year NDA and stand-in contract would go up in smoke. The second that $5 million wire transfer hit my bank account, I was done babysitting this walking red flag. Declan downed the drink and tossed a sleek black Amex onto the kitchen counter, the heavy metal clattering against the marble. Buy yourself something decent. I'm dragging you to a private party in 3 days. Your final appearance. He paused, his eyes narrowing as he took in my relaxed posture, a cruel sneer twisting his lips. Don't embarrass me. And drop the pathetic doormat act. Natalia never looks this desperate. I picked up the heavy black card, my lips stretching into a bright, sickeningly sweet curve. Thanks, Declan. I'll make sure to practice. For $5 million bucks? I wouldn't just act like Natalia. I'd wrestle a damn grizzly bear if he asked. Chapter 2. The Zenith was Manhattan's most exclusive playground for the filthy rich. I looped my arm through Declan's as he pushed open the heavy mahogany doors to the VIP lounge. The bass-heavy music didn't stop, but the conversation instantly flatlined before the catcalls erupted. Well, look who it is. Declan brought the wifey. Wifey? Please, that's just Hazel. Our little Hazel. Gotta admit, in that dress, she's a dead ringer for Natalia. No wonder Declan kept the cheap knockoff on his payroll for 5 years just for laugh. The loudest voice belonged to Chase, Declan's childhood best friend, and the guy who despised my gut. To him, I was just a gold digger, a cheap placeholder warming Declan's bed until the real thing came back. Declan didn't defend me. He just guided me toward the center leather sofa, claiming his throne. I slipped into my role, grabbing the frosted bottle of Dom Perignon, my hands steady as I poured the liquor into their glasses without spilling a single drop. So, Hazel, word on the street is Natalia's coming back. What's your game plan? Chase swirled his bourbon, watching me with a highly amused, expectant smirk. Every pair of eyes in the lounge locked onto me. They lived for this kind of drama, watching the pathetic knockoff get shoved aside, waiting for the inevitable breakdown. That's Declan's business. I just do what I'm told. Chase scoffed, a harsh, grating sound. Drop the act. You're probably cursing us out in your head right now. 5 years of unlimited black cards and luxury penthouses. You expect us to believe you're just going to walk away. He reached out, hooking a lock of my jet black hair around his index finger, his tone turning sleazy. Tell you what, when Declan throws you out with the trash, lavish. Why don't you come warm my bed? I can't match his net worth, but $100,000 a month should be enough to buy a stray like you. The entire lounge erupted into howling laughter. Declan leaned back into the leather cushions, taking a slow drag from his cigarette as the thick smoke masked his expression. He didn't shut it down because he was inhaling the power trip, loving the knowledge that I belonged completely to him. I wanted to shove the liquor bottle down Chase's throat. Instead, I widened my eyes, forcing a panicked tremor into my voice as I shrank closer to Declan's broad chest. Chase, please don't joke like that. That tiny, desperate shift toward him did the trick, flaring Declan's ego as he casually swatted Chase's hand away. Knock it off. You're scaring her. He tapped his cigarette over the crystal ashtray. She's been good to me for 5 years. We're ending this cleanly. Don't make it ugly. Chase threw his hands up in mock surrender. All right. You always were soft on her. But hey, Hazel, know your place. Take the payout and disappear. Don't go full stalker on us. I dipped my head, offering a meek nod. You're absolutely right, Chase. Halfway through the night, Declan's phone buzzed. He checked the screen and immediately stepped out onto the terrace. It didn't take a genius to know who was calling. Natalia. The second the terrace door clicked shut, the vibe in the room went toxic. Chase started snapping his fingers, ordering me to fetch his bourbon and light his cigars. He even intentionally flicked his cigarette ash onto the pristine white silk of my couture gown. I didn't say a damn word, just sat there and took it, not out of weakness, but because Declan paid for this dress, meaning I didn't owe him a cent for the dry cleaning. Every insult I swallowed was just fuel. I was padding that $5 million finish line. Then, my phone buzzed against my thigh. A text from Mount Sinai. Levi's vitals are crashing. His organs are showing signs of rejection. We need to prep for a secondary transplant immediately. Estimated shortfall for the surgery and imported immunosuppressants. $500,000. $500,000 just for the deficit. That didn't even touch the mountain of medical debt we already owed, nor did it cover the specialized rehab he needed